Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too.
President Donald Trump's plan for the US to take over Gaza after permanently resettling Palestinians has sparked international condemnation.
I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent.
His proposal has shattered Washington's decades-long policy of a two-state solution, which would create an independent state for Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza, alongside Israel's existing one. Regional heavyweight Saudi Arabia, which Trump hopes will establish ties with Israel, rejected the plan outright, along with the leaders of Jordan and Egypt. France said the forced displacement of Gazans would be a serious violation of international law and would further destabilize the region, while countries including Russia, China, the UK and Germany said they continued to support the two-state solution. Nabil Abu Rudaina is a spokesperson of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas.
The President and the Palestinian people had already rejected fully and completely these demands. This land is a Palestinian land. It's the international law. It's the Arab Peace Initiative. We refuse any kind of transfer for the Palestinian people, and we appreciate the position of the Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Jordan concerning this issue.
West Bank residents also condemned the pledge. One asked where Trump imagines he'll relocate the Palestinians to. Another told Reuters that Trump wants to, quote, control the world, but doesn't understand what he's talking about. An official from Palestinian militant group Hamas, which ruled the Gaza Strip before the war with Israel, dismissed the plan as, quote, ridiculous and absurd.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
In his first major Middle East policy announcement, President Trump, a former New York property developer, said he envisioned building a resort in the enclave. Here, he said, international communities could live in harmony. That's after over 15 months of Israeli bombardment devastated the coastal enclave of Gaza and killed more than 47,000 people by Palestinian tallies. It's not clear whether Trump will go ahead with his controversial plan or is simply taking an extreme position as a bargaining strategy. He did not provide specific details as he announced this proposal.
President Donald Trump's proposal for the U.S. to take over Gaza and transfer Palestinians out of the enclave was defended by his top aides on Wednesday, while it drew widespread condemnation around the globe.
President Trump is an outside-of-the-box thinker and a visionary leader.
At a White House briefing on Wednesday, Trump's press secretary Caroline Leavitt hailed his Gaza proposal as historic, while stressing that the president had not made a commitment to sending U.S. troops to the Palestinian enclave.
The president has not committed to putting boots on the ground in Gaza. He has also said that the United States is not going to pay for the rebuilding of Gaza. His administration is going to work with our partners in the region to reconstruct this region.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too.
Barely 2 weeks in the job, Trump shattered decades of U.S. policy with a vaguely worded announcement, saying he envisioned transforming Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East, after nearly 16 months of Israeli bombardment devastated the coastal enclave and killed more than 47,000 people according to Palestinian tallies. His words prompted rebukes from world powers Russia, China, and Germany, which said it would foster new suffering and new hatred, while regional heavyweight Saudi Arabia rejected the proposal outright. James Gelvin is a history professor at the University of California, Los Angeles.
Well, my first reaction was that's Trump being Trump. There's no way in hell that this thing is going to work. It involves too many moving parts. It involves ethnic cleansing of Palestine, of Gaza. It involves the American commitment of troops. It involves violations of international law. It involves the Palestinians renouncing their entitlement to the land on which they are. So it's just not going to work.
Trump frequently asserted during the 2024 election campaign, and since returning to the office, that he would end what he called ridiculous wars and prevent others from starting. While on a trip to Guatemala, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, apparently seeking to counter the wave of global criticism, insisted Trump's proposal was not a hostile move.
What President Trump announced yesterday is the offer, the willingness of the United States to become responsible for the reconstruction of that area.
Trump offered no specifics as he announced his proposal while welcoming Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the White House on Tuesday. He said he and his team had been discussing his proposal with Jordan, Egypt, and other regional countries.
Sweden mourned the victims of the country's deadliest gun attack on Wednesday, as police said there was no evidence of, quote, ideological motives behind the mass shooting. At least 11 people were killed and many more wounded at an adult education center in Örebro on Tuesday. Police said the attacker appeared to have acted alone and shot himself dead at the scene. They said the motive was not immediately known and warned of misinformation and contradictory rumors being spread online. According to Swedish media reports, the attacker was a 35-year-old unemployed recluse. Sweden's king and queen visited the school on Wednesday, as Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson called for the country to come together in mourning after the dark day. Flags were flying at half-mast in Örebro, as well as at Parliament and the Royal Palace in Stockholm. Outside the school, people laid flowers and lit candles in a vigil. Abdullah Altain, whose friend is one of the victims of the attack, says, quote, words can't explain what happened. Here is school principal Marcus Altun.
It's absolutely terrible. You don't think it will happen anywhere, and especially not here.
Altun added that there would be a psychologist and school doctor on site for the students. Sweden has been struggling with a wave of shootings and bombings caused by an endemic gang crime problem. However, fatal attacks at schools are rare.
China filed a World Trade Organization complaint against U.S. President Donald Trump's new 10% tariff on Chinese imports. In the Wednesday filing, China argues that the tariff, as well as Trump's cancellation of a duty-free exemption for low-value packages, are protectionist and break WTO rules. It says the duties are discriminatory and, quote, are imposed on the basis of unfounded and false allegations concerning China. Beijing's complaint also comes after Trump's move to shut a trade loophole that allowed small-value packages to be shipped duty-free. The so-called de minimis provision, used widely by e-commerce giants like Shein and Temu, exempted packages with goods worth less than $800 from duties. Around 1.36 billion shipments entered the United States using the de minimis provision in 2024. The Trump administration has blamed the de minimis exemption for allowing fentanyl and its precursor chemicals to enter the U.S. unscreened. Recent Reuters reporting has also found that drug traffickers are exploiting the exemption. Beijing's Wednesday WTO filing could lead to a ruling that Trump's duties violated trade rules, in the same manner that a 2020 ruling found that his first-term China tariffs broke trade regulations. However, such a victory would be unlikely to satisfy Beijing because the WTO's appeals body has been largely inoperable for years. That's because of Washington's blocking of appointments of appellate judges over what it views as judicial overreach by the body, which has prohibited a final decision in the 2020 case.
Panama has denied claims of a free transit deal for US government ships. The US State Department had made the claim in a social media post, saying it would save millions of dollars per year. But the Panama Canal Authority later responded with a statement to say it had not made any change to fees, though it said it was open to dialogue over what would happen to charges in the event of wartime. Now the denial is likely to ratchet up tensions, with the waterway a key concern for Donald Trump's new administration. He says China has too much influence over the canal, and he's accused Panama of charging excessive rates for US vessels.
We're going to take it back or something very powerful is going to happen.
Trump has threatened to retake control of the canal to change that, and hasn't ruled out using force.
What Panama has done is terrible for national security for this part of the world.
Last weekend, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio visited the area and held talks with country President Jose Raul Mulino. Panama later said it would review China's role in canal operations. Hong Kong-based firm CK Hutchison has a concession to operate ports at both ends of the trade route. Panama also said it would let its participation in China's Belt and Road Global Infrastructure Plan expire. Rubio said that was a great step forward. On Wednesday, China said it had lodged complaints with the US over what it called irresponsible remarks regarding its role in the canal. Beijing said cooperation with Panama under the Belt and Road Initiative was proceeding as normal.